My name is Nelly Sironkarupande. I am 24 years old and I am from Kajiado County.
My name is Alfred Oduno Odhiambo. I am 23 years old and I come from Mombasa County.
My name is John Abdub from Marsabit County.
Hello, I am Joshua Chieng. I'm 22 years of age and I'm from Homa Bay County.
I'm an author of two books, The Power of Choice and The Journey to Self-Realization. A graduate from Moi University, pursued bachelor's degree in maritime management.
I am a young person living with HIV who has come out to advocate for meaningful engagement, to also be a peer mentor in engaging peer-to-peer support for adolescents and young people living with HIV. I'm a member of Southeast Kika Network, Youth Advisory Council for Health in Homa Bay County, and I also serve as a member of Committee of African Youth Advisors at ECPAF. My major role is to advocate for young people to get access to SRHR information, to get access to better health services. I also advocate for risk reduction, reduction of teenage pregnancies, reduction of stigma and discrimination.
I am in my final year of studies at the University of Nairobi, where I am pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, which is my major, sociology and psychology. I am also the founder of a community-based organization in Kajiado County known as the Binti Initiative. My interests lie in politics, that is elective politics, politics of race, of class, of gender, and I'm also an avid reader.
I am a fourth year Bachelor of Arts student in the University of Nairobi. I major in political science and I minor in sociology. I spend most of my time writing creatives, and most of my works can be found in my blog.
Transparency, accountability, public participation and engagement in all forums, from implementation to evaluation, as well as integrity.
In a nutshell, good leadership to me means service to humanity. And for you to be a good leader to others, you have to lead yourself first.
Good leadership for me is a concept that describes a relationship between two kinds of people, leaders and those who are being led, or better yet, civilians. Now again, it is a relationship of understanding and responsibility. Leaders ought to have the aspiration and the willingness to act on behalf of the citizens and for the betterment of the society.
Good leadership is a leadership that exhibits ethical and moral culture, which this exhibits a leadership who has a good example to the people and also to what he does. Focuses on to your strength and weaknesses, and to the strength and weaknesses of the country or the company that you're working with, as well the beauty that is in the ability of an individual or the company you're working with or the country, which enables you to develop a great reality of things into it. And this is development, and these are the works that you will do.
I would rate Kenyan leadership 4 out of 10. This is because, in as much as Kenyan leadership is not synonymous with democratic means of governance, there are some few leaders who have shown interest and zeal to pursue democratic means of governance. Specifically, I'm not giving Kenya a 10 because day in, day out, we have complaints from civilians about how issues they report to the government are not being addressed. For example, poor infrastructure, in that even children are not able to get to school without crossing dangerous rivers. Again, we've had the COVID-19 millionaires video, which exposed the lack of accountability and transparency within the government.
Generally, I will rate the leadership of Kenya to 4. Reason being is that Kenya's leadership has become a leadership of rogue thieves, and those leadership that can't act to agenda that they have promised. One is because we have had great paperwork in matters of regulations, matters of plan work. All these things have never been acted upon. We're just seeing, rhetorical words that are being said over and over, we will build stadiums, we will build hospitals, we will build this. But the thing that is there is we hear money allocated to such development being eaten, being left to the pocket of very few individuals, and it's not in the economy. Out of this money that you see being stolen, these are not even resources that have been generated from the Kenyan economy. These are money borrowed to develop, and therefore when it is taken out of the economy, it becomes burden to the people and the poor people of Kenya.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate Kenya's leadership at 1, just because to me it's non-existent. As I had earlier on said, leadership to me means service to humanity. And the type of leadership we are seeing in this country is one that is fueled by selfish and personal interests. And so there's just no leadership, there's no service to humanity. And that is why I put my score at a 1. Until we see leadership that is focused on or centered on the people's needs, then I would still continue to rate it at a 1.
I'll rate Kenyan leadership as number 3 because we still have issues that are still deteriorating our development. In as much as we have independence, but there are concerns such as corruption, health concerns, resource mobilization, and even allocation that have really rampant the country.
Corruption has become a big problem in the country, and therefore, as a young person, I feel hardened by the economy. I feel hardened by the struggle that we get when we are looking for jobs, when looking for opportunities out here. Kazi mtaani, you'll find corruption being at the center stage of these projects. People not getting their allocated resources, people missing out of the names that were set to benefit. Out of the list, you'll find fake names, and those fake names are being signed on to take money, and these are not young people who are taking. It's the old people or even the young people, in leadership who've applied for a lot of jobs. Yes, you are qualified. Yes, we can be able to put in place such energy in the work, but we are not given the opportunity because corruption is at the center stage of everything that works in Kenya. So therefore, I have to bring money to get job. In the business, you want to do business here and there are people who will just give you a boundary or give you a block to not even cross the line of being rich as a young.
For me, it's more of an internal battle or struggle of trying to remain hopeful for my country amidst all that is going on. Sometimes I'm in a matatu and we are stopped by the policeman, or you're just in a vehicle and a policeman stops you, and the next natural thing to do is give them money. And these are things we have normalized, we have made part of our culture, and that for me pains me because it's wrong. So for me, it's a constant battle, it's an internal battle to stay hopeful and believe that there's also a group of people out there who are taking personal initiative to fight corruption in small little ways.
Corruption personally has impacted on me that I'm blocked from getting some services and opportunities, because I'm told when I go to access a service in a government office, then they want me to bribe them, in which they call it kitu kidogo ya chai.
It has impacted me on several occasions, but there is one that stands out. About a year and a half ago, I applied for a passport in Mombasa immigration offices. I was made to wait for more than 2 months, and I got to speak to my fellow applicants, and they told me that you have to pay a bribe for your documents to be processed as fast as possible.
As young people, we have to realize that the fight against corruption does not only have to happen in courtrooms. We also have the responsibility to fight against corruption, and it can be in very small ways. Calling out a friend who you see is engaging in corruption, and also it begins with you. You have to look at ways you have normalized and internalized corruption and made it part of part of your daily life. And so I think that's where the fight against corruption should begin.
Young people need to be watchdogs for the government. They need to keep the government on check, because every 5 years Kenyans elect new leaders, and these leaders have manifestos of which they promise to young people. So we need to act as their watchdog and need to speak out to ensure that their manifesto be implemented.
As a young person, let's know the role that we play in the fight against corruption. Remember, integrity, transparency, and the fight against corruption must or should be part of the culture that we have, and they have to be taught as a fundamental values when we grow. Remember, corruption in a bigger picture, we see it being in the leadership, but it's not always on the leaders. But even us, we have a corrupt mind. We have a mind that is always wanting to benefit out of something. Therefore, even when you'll be given a leadership role, remember the culture you've been inculcated to since when you are small will be the one that will be, leading at that point. So therefore, it's not that the person in leadership started corruption at that point. It's something that has been there over and over since when he was young, and therefore when the time comes to be in leadership, then that character comes out and people see it in a bigger picture. So therefore, the young people should always be right from the word go, because the next thing is we will be in leadership, and when we're in leadership, do we do the right things, or we will be the people who are backing when others were eating, and when we eat, we silently eat others back to us. Okay, when we are eating, when I look for a job and people need money to pay, I won't pay. I'll try my best. If it's not for me, then it's not for me. And therefore we have to bring up a culture that is not corrupt, and the role of the youth is not to be silent. The role of the youth is to fight corruption to its nail, even when we feel like we cannot heard, we are not being listened to, when we feel like there are people who will continue eating. We have a role to play. We have a role to make a good leadership in the next election, in any point you're told elect a leader. You have the power to put somebody who is good in character, who is good in culture. Role of a leader should start from the down, going up, and that is how. Without strong watchdog, I will say watchdog institutions, therefore impunity becomes the way of the day. The very foundation upon which system of corruption are built is a weak watchdog institutions. So therefore, we will fight. But if we have an institution that is weak, and is an institution that is feeling like powerless, therefore corruption will take the day, and no one will be taken to court, no one will be taken to jail.
Keeping tabs on the government allocation of funds and how their supplies are made to schools and hospitals.
Young people can participate in good leadership through advisory boards, being involved in advisory boards, being involved in committees, and being very integral part of the society, talking about issues that affect them in those forums, and speaking out to the development partners, the government as a whole, to really ensure that their projects and mandates are taken into key practice.
Youth participation in good leadership starts with understanding our rights and responsibilities as citizens of this country. Second, we have to start seeing ourselves as capable people or capable leaders who can go into the arena, vie for elective posts. We have to stop leaving that responsibility for the older generation. We have to start seeing ourselves as capable enough to take over the governance of this country. We also have to go out there and vote. It is our responsibility, all right? And just having these crucial conversations with our fellow peers of where our country is headed, what we expect from our leaders, and what we can do as young people in our communities to change the narrative of this country.
They have to take initiative, and by this I mean they have to take up positions in committees, regional, local, and international organizations that have the power and ability to address these issues on head. They are supposed not to be afraid. They have to do this again by the law and rules and regulations of the country.
By participating in policy making process and the actualization of the policy, also they can be part of the leadership. Therefore, we urge young people to come forth and vie for these leadership positions, and also engaging the community in giving civic education by promoting the values that we tend to believe that can generate development, that can generate power and innovation in the community. So therefore the young people in their own small way, in community-based organization, in any foundation, in any rights that you can educate the community in, these are the ways that the young people can participate well and in making now leadership to the people. Leadership is not about position, but what we can offer to our community. Therefore, other thing is the young people, when they elect leaders, let them do it purposively. We need to vote in somebody who has an agenda for the people, so that the leaders, when the position, can be able to be driven by the voice that we the young people make.
As an adolescent and youth health advocate, my hope for Kenya is to see Kenya achieving the highest sustainable health goals and concerns. I really want to see Kenya being independent. I really want to see Kenya having transparent leadership and Kenya stamping out corruption in the near future.
What is my hope for Kenya? I hope that very soon we have a country with leaders and citizens who acknowledge their roles and duties, and they perform these diligently and honestly. With this, we'll be able to have a nation that develops from time to time.
My hope for this country is very short and simple. I just hope that the citizenry begins to realize that the power lies in our hands. It does not lie in the hands of your politician, your MP, the minister. No. The power lies in the citizenry. And that is why every 5 years, these people come back to us to ask for votes. So that is my hope for this country.
My hope for Kenya is that a day is coming, a moment is coming, and this moment is unstoppable. This day will come when Kenya is a Kenya that lives in the hands of innovation and creativity, a hand of hope that Kenya will be built in a leadership that is greater. So therefore, let's not lose hope. Let's not tire up. Let's continue fighting. Let's continue air out our hope for this country. Let's continue giving our energy and resources to this country to build it. A moment when we'll feel weak, there is a moment that will come. We will be high and rejoicing. Leadership comes and leadership goes, but a great leadership will come and its word will stay. And I'll say corruption, as Joe Biden says, is a cancer. And if it's a cancer, it eats away the innovation that the country takes away. So therefore, Kenyan should look upon a bigger problem that we will fight. So are we ready to fight this corruption? Are we ready to fight for our country? Are we ready to die for Kenya? Thank you.